Charles Abraham Scalvis, Milan Becu, and Lorenzo Di Pietrantonio on the row number 3. Clear the grid from Ross Apton, the chief of the pre-grid, so to speak. And here's a close look at Mathis Brajo at the wheel of his Parolin machine from the Spirit Racing team. Mathis Brajo has been one to watch for, one to look forward to coming to this weekend. Only made it to P3 behind Austin Newstead and Mason Brooks in his first qualifying heat. And as the weather conditions and the track conditions have slightly changed since this morning, let's see if the young Frenchman will be able to get himself in better spirits, in a better result at the end of this race. And having a closer look at everybody here, this is still too soon for any of the drivers to go for plan B and choose slick tires from the wet compounds that they have. So everybody on the wets, and that makes very much sense. The whistle has been blown and the green light is on. Here we go for the 2 warm-up laps of the mini category A versus D. We're going to go through the starting grid in a moment, but Mathis Brajo once again starting from pole position, as he will be on the inside of the front row coming to turn number 1. Daniel Ferguson by his side, Charles Clos and Abraham Scalvis on row number 2. Row number 3, Milan Becu and Lorenzo Di Pietrantonio. And we have Baptiste Augustin and Theo Pelfrené, row number 4. Alex Riley and Charles Ural, row number 5. Stanislas Ziarko and Christian Kobe, row number 6. Row number 7, Mason Brooks, as well as Ole Sorli Smistad, Alexander Frankenberg and Oliver Whiten on row number 8. Row number 9, Nahil Padovani and Elias Sami, as well as Milo Cornel at the back end of the grid. A total for this race of 19 drivers, and we do have everybody on board. That's always a good news. We had a driver who unfortunately had been disqualified earlier of this event, something you don't get to see every day, but this time around we do have everybody, a full grid for 7 laps. Mathis Brajo, a young Frenchman, on pole position for what was his first ever pole in the IAME Euro Series. Talking about pole position, well, in the mini class we had Wayne Golchak, who took the first pole of the season. It was at the IAME Winter Cup of Valencia in February. You might have followed that on the IAME Euro Series channels earlier, as Mathis Brajo has become the second pole sitter of the season. And talking about other performers, we had Super Heat wins as well for Francisco Correa. Austin Newstead has been a Super Heat winner as well earlier, and the win in the Winter Cup in Valencia went to Wayne Golchak. We mentioned that earlier as well. A couple of the protagonists in the mini class ever since the start of that 2025 season. It's been almost a decade, would you believe, that RGMMC took over the promotion and organization of the IAME Euro Series back in 2016. Time flies when we have fun, isn't it, my dear Anthony? You coming back from outside of the Parc Fermé, would you give us your latest update concerning the weather?
Well, the weather, the sky's all right. It's not too bad. Temperature's okay. The only thing I will say is that we've been graciously gifted an electric scooter by the circuit to take us down to do the Parc Fermé interviews, because Parc Fermé is quite a long way away from the commentary box. However, it lacks a rear piece of plastic that stops the water from going up the back of your legs. And I've got to say, it's atrocious, and I'm absolutely soaked through since I used it to go there. So I'm probably not going to use it again if we go down anymore. I'll be walking the entire way. But enough of that. We're about to go racing. Mini X30, their second round of qualifying heats. This is Groups A versus D then. Heading to the tram lines. It looks good, it looks steady. Let's see who's going to get the whole shot in towards turn 1. Mathis Brajo and Daniel Ferguson on the front row of the grid. Who is going to get the run? We are green and racing. It's a good start for the inside row. Mathis Brajo, Charles Koff and Milan Baku will get the run in towards turn number 1. And Milan Baku's actually got himself up into second place now. The driver who started on the third row of the grid in the 447, now in good control of this race. But it's chasing down now. Mathis Brajo is still in control at the front of this race. Well, as they push their way through now, we'll keep a close eye on the entirety of the field. Everyone looks like they've got through the first couple of corners unscathed. They get through the chicane. Look at the speed difference now through that chicane. They are carrying so much more speed. The confidence level has risen. Yeah, this track is the best it has been now.
Yeah, I think that after this one, we might have one or maybe two more races using the wet tires. It remains to be seen what options the drivers will go for, according with the mechanics as well. Suddenly a lot of talks and a lot of briefings already happening on the side of the track to decide which choice of tires to go for. But at this point, we focus on the performance of the minis, and as you can see, the kart is going slightly to the outside as well, which might be an early sign of the grip not working as much as expected with those wet tires, but that's another question. You can see that the racing line is drying. The outside might help the tires indeed to drop down a temperature or two, but Mathis Brajot doing what he can to prevent Milan Beku from overtaking him. Milan Beku, a brilliant recovery as well. 3 places gained from P5 to 2nd place at the moment, in front of Alex Rayleigh. 6 places up to P3 from Mason Brooks. Mason Brooks talking about recovers in those early stages. 9 places recovered for Mason Brooks, who stepped into the so-called podium, at least within the top 3 of his first race. So he's very much on pace, Mason Brooks, another of the young Fusion drivers who have really got the grip with the Cremona track, whatever the conditions. As we have as well Alex Rayleigh further back, dropping a place, unfortunately, down to 4th, because Mason Brooks just made his way back into the top 3.
Certainly has indeed, and they are battling away nicely for 3rd and 4th place. We'll keep a close eye on the entirety of this field as it goes on, but at the front here, Brajot in control still. The gap, 0.4 of a second between himself and Baku. Brooks is a little further back on this one. Mason Brooks another 1.7 seconds further down the road. Has got the likes of Alex Rayleigh for company, the Irishman, but the Irishman sitting a little further back. 5th place downwards, though, here, Guillaume, is looking a little bit interesting. Baptiste Orcasi, Daniel Ferguson, Christian Kobe, Tio Palframe, Lorenzo Di Pietro Antonio, who, remember, finished 2nd earlier on. He is right down in that pack, and there's a sandwich through the chicane there, and that's as close as you would like it. How on earth did all 3 of those make it out of that chicane in one piece? Because that was proper sandwich there for one of the Fusion karts.
You can feel, and one of the drivers into the grass, and against the wall. But he seems to be okay, but that's certainly not the way you want to finish your race, and not the way you want to put your wheels.
That's Baptiste Augustine, and look at that. Go on, lad. Go on, give it a good put. No, he's not got it, and that's a tough one. He's really tried to get that out, but the marshals are there now. And if they intervene, he will have to give up. He's going to try and drag it from the rear now. I'm looking at the commentary box now with the racing. There we go, back on the screen. The marshal's like, okay, no, he's not going to have it. And frustration kicks in. And that's so disappointing, because that was purely, there was so much standing water on the outside of that. That then just kind of flooded the wet tyre. It flung it off the track, and then, there was nowhere for it to go. But Baptiste Augustine going no further in this race. Yeah,
and also adding to the fact that there was a lot of mud and it was slippery and everything, it was a little bit bended as well, so it's not entirely flat around those tracks. And the 424 in trouble as well. This is Ole Sundstad. Yeah, and dropping down the order. Another driver, unfortunately. This time it looks to me like a mechanical problem for the Falcon driver out of this race. That's 2 retirements pretty much in a row. But picking up on what happened for Baptiste Augustin, unfortunately, for those wondering, well, he cannot actually have the help of the marshals. As long as he's able to get the engine going and get back onto the track, that is not allowed to benefit from outside help from those onto the track. It's only when the engine seizes or when there's nothing else to do then that they have to remove the driver and the kart to the sideline. So that was really a difficult spot for him to get stuck in, and he wasn't able to get back on the track on his own. We have seen that numerous times, but I was going to say that we can feel the aggressivity of the racing picking up a little bit. So that means that the track is very much drying now. The racing line is slightly faster than before, allowing those drivers to take more risk than before as well.
Exactly. The racing should get closer then as the evening goes on, because we've seen a lot of breakaways as Mason Brooks is swapping around and is going to go for the race lead here. Mason Brooks has closed in to Brajot and now has got past. A nice battle through the laps here, and Brooks now in control of this race. Baku is there as well, and you can just see here the confidence level of someone who's found some traction out there, has found the grip on the circuit, versus someone who is still trying to find it. It is such a dynamic situation to be in as a driver with a drying track, and you think, right, should I try the inside line? Should I try the outside? Should I try the middle here? Because any one of these lines could be faster than the other, and you've just got to pick and choose of which one you think is the better one. You're seeing the dry line form there. I'm looking out the commentary box window. I can see a clear dry line going into the chicane as well, and the exit of Sector 1 and into Sector 2. They're going around Turn 5 now. They're coming into this now. This is where you'll see that dry line starting to form. You can just see that lighter bit of tarmac there, right on the apex of turn number 6 and through 7, and that's why it looks so much more dramatic. Here we go. Here's Milan Baku, and he's straight through as well, and that shows the confidence level that one other driver has got versus the other with getting on the power.
Yeah, getting the power early as well. Both of them taking on the outside line, the wide line into that turn number 8, but that was a textbook sort of move from Milan Baku, driving the machine by GP Racing Team, the Belgian team. Milan Baku, who didn't even need to brake late to get ahead of Mathis Brageau. Certainly a different level of confidence, as we said. And now Milan Baku finds himself in the best place he's ever been so far, second position. Could he have maybe a slight chance to get close to Mason Brooks coming towards the checkered flag? This is the last lap of that qualifying race, the last one before the last round of qualifying races later this afternoon for the minis. But Mason Brooks on his way to what will be victory number 1 for him, climbing 12 places up to that P1. Got an impressive set of skills once again. And I've been led to believe that those changing conditions are sometimes even worse than having full wet, because at least when it comes to wet, you know what you're up against. When it's changing and slippery in parts you have no idea where, this is another sort of challenge.
Yeah, exactly that. And, well, there you go. He's going to fight back. Brageau's found some pace now. He's found a dry piece of track that he likes and has managed to get past Milan Baku. But Baku's going to fight back, I'm sure, in this dying stages of this last lap. Brooks is going to be clear and fine at the front here. Here we go. Baku and Brageau, they keep swapping places. Oh, and Baku slams the door closed on the exit there of turn 12. Denies him through, does Brageau, but let's find out. To the line, here's Brooks, there's Brageau and Baku, but Baku's going to get the jump here, and Milan Baku came second place. Mason Brooks gets the P1 finish, Brageau goes third, Kobe in fourth place from Di Pietro Antonio in P5, Ferguson in sixth, Clough in seventh, Riley in eighth place from Palfrain in ninth, Shelvis rounding out the top 10. But for Mason Brooks, that is his first win of the weekend, his first win of the 2025 season in the IAME Euro Series, and I'm sure many more to come as well. They'll make their way back to Parc Ferme. The results are there on your screen, but of course it's not fully over yet. Nose cone checks, scrutineering, all of that good stuff that we like. The drivers don't much care for it, but yes, it's all very important. There's the full results, and Mason Brooks, what a race. 12 places gained.
Well-deserved P1, joining Austin Newstead with 2 wins, and George House as well, the excellent driver amongst the circle of winners. Outside of the top 10, Charles Ural, Milo Cornet, Alexander Fredberg, Stanislas Jarko, Nahil Padovani, Oliver Wojcien, as well as Ailes Sami. The last driver to see the checkered flag, as we lost Baptiste Augustin and Ole Sorli Smistad, unfortunately having to drop off of that race. But well done to Mason Brooks from Fusion Motorsport, another win for the British team. Well done to this young lad who has been absolutely impressive, climbing 12 places from further back on the grid.